Welcome back everyone to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. Today I am starting a new series of videos. I think it's a new series. And this is about where to find things to help you repair, restore, conserve, or bring back your vintage sewing machine, whether it's yours or maybe you're enjoying this hobby like I do and you want to rescue these machines and get them back into working order, or just give them a good full in-depth maintenance and then find new homes for them, whatever it is. But I thought I'd start today. I actually got a package in the mail, and this is the first vendor I'm going to cover. Now, I've used this vendor before, and I've had good results with them. I do not know them, and they don't sponsor me or anything. This is totally, I have to get supplies from somewhere. And I actually have several places I go to, and this is one of them. I've used them once or twice before. They had a good inventory. They tell you if they're out of something. It normally shows on their website. They have quite a variety of things. They sell both new reproduction parts as well as actual vintage parts. So anyway, I'm going to open this up today and we'll take a look. Now, the name of this business is called the Sewing Machine Depot, and they are down in Florida. Now, they used to be called Central Michigan Sewing, and I think the owners may have moved to Florida. I don't know. And you will find them a lot of times. They were smart. They have links, I think, between the two names. So again, I had to basically put this order in and have it shipped to me, obviously. Now, keep in mind, there are prices listed here and quantities. You can't really see them that well here. These are in Canadian dollars, okay? And this site is nice because you can actually pick U.S. or Canadian dollars. Maybe because they used to be in Michigan. Michigan, there's a lot of commerce because Michigan is a border state between the U.S. and Canada. So any of the prices here are in Canadian dollars. If you were to order them in the U.S., you would pay you would see lower prices because of the currency valuation. So anyway, without more yabbering on my part, let's open up the box and see what we get. I know vaguely what I ordered, and I'm going to, there'll be a list or an invoice that I can check behind. So I'll take that out. Looks like there's, some kind of invoice here. All right, so, this is just a continuation of it, I see. All right, let's see what we've got here. What do we have? And you always, obviously, I know a lot of you probably do this. You always want to check, what you've got in the mail from, you want to check that to make sure that you have gotten everything you ordered, right? Not that the business would purposely do that, but you always want to be sure that everything's there. So what do I have here? I have a total, and notice it says at the top on the invoice, I don't know if you can see this, it says Central Michigan Sewing Supplies Inc. But again, they will be shipping from Florida. Now, this shows me this is just one of the items on here. It's the printing out on this invoice is not very dark, so I know it's not that easy to see. But my subtotal was $106. I got a discount, $15.90. Shipping was $28, and then again I had to pay some customs duty, not a lot, but I had to pay some. And then the grand total is $118.10. Now remember, right now, the currencies, you could take about 30% off of that, and that would probably, depending on what your shipping is, that's probably where you would see a difference in price, again, in U.S. dollars. Now, I have on here a list, and I've got, I don't know how well this is showing up for you. The first thing is Necky Sewing Machine hinge screws. I've got some hinge screws to try to get this Necky Supernova of mine, which you may be able to see off there to the right. I've got to get it back installed because I broke one of them. Spool pin felts. You can order these individually, and if you only need a few for your machine. In my case, I just ordered 2 packs, $6 each, 10 per pack, so I've got 20 of them, because I go through them, obviously. I like to put those on for my clients when they get a machine from me. Very often, the little washer felts are missing. What else we got here? Bobbin winder tire. These, and I think I ordered the what's called the medium size. It's the most common size for singers and singer clones. I've got sewing machine double-ended lint brush. My favorite lint brush. That's just me. And again, none of these things are particularly expensive. I got a vintage. This is an original part. It says Vintage Original Singer Bobbin Winder Thread Guide, because I have a Singer 301 that was missing a bunch of parts. Original Singer Bobbin Winder Thread Guide fits, and then it talks about what it fits. And then I have a $39, again this is Canadian, and I know the image doesn't show up well for you. It's the top for a 301 because I needed a thread guide I could not find, and so I ended up ordering the whole top. Again, this is to restore a very forlorn Singer 301A in black. And again, that's just what that shows, my little invoice. So I'm going to unpack all of this and kind of show you what I got. And the reason I'm doing this is to, I don't know if it's that interesting to you as to what I ordered so much as what you can order, right? What can you get when you're ordering things on the internet for a vintage sewing machine? And it might surprise some of you just how many things are out there. Some vintage you will need, some of them are not in current production, obviously. Now, what is that? Now, sometimes when a machine doesn't work or for whatever reason, people will take machines and part them out, right? They'll just disassemble them and sell off the parts. And you might think, well, that's kind of a bummer, but don't forget that there are many machines that can be kept going when someone takes something like a black Singer 301 and parts it out, because I could not repair mine without them doing this. So you can save a lot of old machines by parting out, letting one be the donation machine. Okay, I'm going to gently. This is in a bag. It's nicely packed. Looks like it's in a sandwich bag or something. Be careful. Remember, pieces have other pieces attached to them, right? And here's the reason I ordered this. It's actually quite shiny. I'm impressed. The lettering is good. On my current, the 301 I'm trying to rescue, the lettering is not great, but the thing that's missing is right here, right? This thread guide was missing. And I could not, I looked and looked. There are other guides I could find, but I couldn't find this thing. And without it, I wasn't going to be able to restore my 301. And underneath here, you can see where it connects, right? You can see it right here. It just connects right in there. If anyone has an idea, if I were brave enough to remove this, I don't know if this is original. It's a little, well, I don't know. It looks like it's in good shape. It's got lost a little bit of its nickel plating, but I don't mind that. I can polish that up. But this is a very important thread guide for a 301, and I couldn't find one anywhere without buying the whole top. So again, this machine had already been parted out, so that again, other people will buy other parts of it, and again, it helps many other machines to be rescued. So there's that, right? And I always like to check, make sure I'm not throwing anything out that I ordered, because it's wrapped up in some sort of bag. It's easy to do. Let's see what else we've got here. And they have packed for me. I have a number of things. I'm going to show these things to you. These are some of the little things on the invoice that I find. And again, the prices are reasonable. All right. And you say, well, maybe I could get it cheaper somewhere else. Maybe. But if you have a retailer that you like, okay, $6. I think it was $6. Was it? Let me go back and look. One at, I'm looking at to see what I paid for these felts. Yeah, there was $6 for a bag of 10. Well, that's not bad. I mean, what is that, $1.25 a felt? You don't want to be penny wise, pound foolish, but you also don't want to get ripped off either. And I have found this site's, again, this is my own perspective. You might disagree. I have found their prices to be reasonable. I mean, there's only so many places you go to find such things. And again, I will use these. You may not need 20, spool felts, but I certainly do because I go through them quite a bit. All right. What else have we got in here? Let's change our angle a little bit. Now, these are lint brushes. And the lint brushes come in many sizes and shapes, and you may have one you like. I like this one because, yeah, it's not super soft. You wouldn't want to use it a lot on something that was very delicate in terms of its finish, but it works. It's like a little brush, obviously, but then you have this little, I call it the mini bottle brush end. I really like that. Again, the end is steel, so you want to be careful, but I have found this to be really useful, especially when I'm going around feed dogs, and it helps pull up a bunch of stuff out. I got 3 of them. What did I say I paid for these? There were 3 in a pack, and they were $6. So $2 a piece. I mean, that's fair to me. I mean, at some point you have to decide, how much are you willing to pay for something. Now, I purchased 2 packs at $6 a piece, and there's 3 per pack. I got the tires. They're called winder tires, or friction wheels, they're sometimes called. And almost every vintage sewing machine, and a lot even the newer ones, will still use these sometimes. This is what is used to roll against your hand wheels when you're winding a bobbin. And these are 29 millimeter by 15 millimeter by 7 millimeter. The code is number 15287A. And that's for any of you who are saying, hey, what number is that, right? So, but anyway, you get 3 to a bag. Again, they're $2 each. That's not a bad price, especially with everything having gone up, right? What else have we got? Oh, now, these 2 little baggies, they possess vintage parts, okay? I have, on the left, you see 2 bolts that are designed to hold a Necchi Supernova. These bolts tighten the machine against its hinge pins so it doesn't fall out of the table. Very important. I broke one off when I was trying to put one in, and I may have had the wrong bolt. In any case, I created a lot of work for myself. Don't do like I did that in that regard. Now I'll probably put some oil or some very thin liquid wrench or something on these to get them to go in, because Necchi parts are typically kind of tight. It's just how they were produced. And they did have this guide. This is the guide that goes down in the lower right-hand side of the bed of a 301. You need this to use your bobbin winder. This is not a reproduction. This is an original part. And you know what? It was $14. But where else are you going to get an original part, right? That's very fair. You will discover when you are looking at things like sewing parts that when you're buying parts for a Singer, for example, or perhaps one of the white rotaries, the parts are often less costly, whether they're vintage or reproduction, than the parts that you might get or have to find for a European machine like a Husqvarna, Berninas especially. You all have heard me complain before. Getting parts for a Bernina is like getting parts for a classic European sports car. You might be able to get them, but you will pay dearly if you can get them at all. And if I can't find a part for a machine, it depends on what it is. I'm just always, I like to make sure I'm not losing anything small in all of these foam peanuts here. And I'll check. I won't put you through me looking through all of those peanuts. Now, there are 2 items left here. And they are the most expensive thing I bought in this purchase. They are. And I'll tell you what these numbers are, because Alpha Sew is the brand. Sewing machine motor, L bracket, 1.5 amp. Now, people have asked me in the past, if I want to upgrade a machine, or maybe I just need to replace my motor, period. 1.5 amp is generally the cutoff for most domestic sewing machine motors. The White Company in the 60s had a 1.6 amp, and I think they were just doing that to one-up singers with as little as effort as they could. But you can get reproduction motors, and I like getting these from a reputable seller. You might be able to go on places like eBay and get them for slightly cheaper. I paid $53 each. Okay, so I got 2 of them, so it was $106 before tax. Now, you might, is that a lot of money? I don't think so, because again, you will find reproduction or new generic replacement motors, and you can get some of these motors more cheaply. However, they are lower in amperage, and it's a sliding scale type of thing. Well, let's see what you get with this. Now, get the plastic off here because it's going to be a lot easier for you to see what you're looking at. Okay, what do you get? You get a brand new, AC motor. And let's bring this up close so you can see it a little bit better instead of just listening to me talk about it. 1.5 amp, right? And 150 watts, 110 volts, of course. This is North America. We need that. And there's a little number here. Now, one of the things I like, several things, in addition to the fact that it's 1.5 amp, and yeah, I could have saved, I don't know, $10 or $12 and got the 1.3 amp or 1.2. But I mean, come on, if you're gonna do it, for my purposes, I might as well just go up a little extra and get the 1.5 amp. I do think they do. The amperage does make a difference. But notice, unlike some of the replacement motors that you get, you might see on the internet, these have motor brush caps and motor brush access on both sides, just like they should. This means that, now these should be, I'll double check. Normally they're preloaded with new brushes and you get an extra set. What else do you get? You get a new belt. Now the belt I will certainly use if it fits the machine I need it for. This belt is designed to fit a certain number of machines. You also get an extra set of brushes, right? And if I don't use them for this, these brushes should last a very long time, okay? But I can still use them other places. And I even have some extra springs, and they're brass, which is kind of impressive. You don't really see a lot of brass used for items like this. Oh, what else do you see? You are going to see some washers, right? You see those washers there? If I can get out of my own way there. You'll see 2 washers and a large bolt. That was designed to bolt your replacement motor bracket to your machine. Now, when you order one of these motors, you really want to pay attention. Read the website listing, because some motors are designed to more aptly fit different machine models. The ones that I normally always order are this model, which is designed to fit many, not necessarily all, but many vintage Singer machines. Now, there are 2 kinds of brackets. There's a bracket called a K bracket, which fits and bolts to these 2 bolts, and that's why these bolts are extra long. He's like, gosh, look at this. This holds the motor shell together, I believe, but they sure are long. But the other option is for the L bracket, right? I'll turn it the right way here. Notice, this is the L bracket. This is what you want typically for your classic vintage Singers that need replacement motors. This is a replacement motor for an outboard, if you will, mounted motor with a belt. This does not replace direct drive potted motors or the direct drive motors in the Slant-O-Matic series. This is not for those. But for many machines, whether it's a Japanese clone of a Singer 15 or many Singer, not just 15s, but many Singer models, vintage Singer models, this will often fit, and this really matters. Now, is it guaranteed to fit every one? No. But notice the length from here to here. That matters because when you go to mount it on the side of your machine, right? And obviously the Necky doesn't use this motor, but I want to show you when you mount something behind a sewing machine that bolt, there should be a hole in the side of the machine, whether it's a Singer or a Japanese copy, and that is what this bracket does. It attaches that way. If you order this motor, which you can, with the K bracket, which kind of comes at it like this, it looks like a little wishbone to me anyway, those are great motors. In fact, it's the same motor, but that K mounting is for different types of machine models. If you're not sure which one you need, just reach out, email the seller. They know a lot about, they should know a lot about what they're selling and what they fit. So, you know, many of the businesses like this one, this is not a global corporation. This is a small entrepreneur business, and I've always gotten great response. I've heard back from them quickly, and I had to make a decision on how many motors I needed. I wasn't sure. I had already put the invoice. They were willing to hold it for me. I like dealing with people in smaller businesses because sometimes they can be very responsive and easier to deal with, and these folks have been. So again, I don't have any sponsorship from this business at all, but my own experience tells me, you know, I just spent $118 with them because I've used them before, and my expectation was that I was going to have a good experience, and so far I have. So there you go. So now I have a whole nother, I ordered 2 of them. I won't open that one, but I wanted you to see this because very often you will not be able to get everything you need always at the same business, right? So I had a few other things I have to order, have had to order. In fact, I have a number. This is why this is a video series. This company that I've ordered from has a lot of great, they have quite a selection, but none of these businesses have everything you're going to need. So you always want to go shopping. But I wanted to let you know, given how many times I've had to order things for my sewing machine restoration hobby, passion, whatever you want to call it, I've reached out to businesses, and people often say, well, where did you get that? And I don't always remember where I get things if I've had them a long time. So I wanted to start a series showing you some of the places you can get these things. And so what am I going to do with this? I'm actually going to be, I have a sewing machine. I like to have some of these in stock. Old sewing machine motors were made very well, but sometimes they've had a hard life. They were not, or they, you know, the brushes ran dry, and for whatever reason, the motor's no good. But you can replace the motor. You're not stuck with the same, you're not stuck with a machine that won't work. You just have to find the right replacement. So again, some of you who know sewing supplies may recognize the name Alpha Sew, made in PROC. And again, it says 1.5 amp. These have been around a while, but I really like, and again, with new, well, let's just open it up and see. I'll tell you right quick if in fact the brushes, I'm pretty sure the brushes I got with this are extra. So you're not all left wondering, well, I wonder if there really are. Oops, not the right size. Let's get the right one. I'm always looking for screwdriver tips. It's like the Goldilocks. Which one is just right? Okay. I think it actually says, and I just don't remember, and it's actually easier just to show you. And it's also a good time to remind everyone, when you are dealing with motor brush caps, be gentle. These are plastic, right? They're supposed to be plastic. They weren't cheapening on us. And remember, now that I've loosened it, I'm holding it with my thumb. The rest of the way, I'm going to turn by hand. I think I've shown this to you before. There's a spring behind this, and if you're not holding it, it'll go flying. And again, you don't want to have to go searching for it. Okay. Now, I took that off. Yep. If there's a spring, you should see a brush, and sure enough, there it is. Now, that brush should last a very long time. Now, normally when you have replacement brushes, they are flat, typically, and they have to break in. These are actually, these appear to have some curvature to them, which I wasn't expecting that, but that's kind of nice. Now, when you go to if you're ever putting a new brush in, or you're taking a brush out to clean or inspect, again, you always want to put the curvature, right? If that curve, if you look at it, it's barely visible, I think, right? But I want, remember that the commutator that these brushes push against is facing toward us. So we want that curve to be in line with the curve of the commutator. Otherwise, you'll have a louder motor until the brushes recede. Now, I'm going to go and put it back, right? And I want the little, this one has like a little pin piece of plastic in the center, and I want it to line it up. That helps you line it up with a spring, right? Now I'm going to push. I'm just going to try to start it. Now, threading these is a little weird because you've got a plastic cap and you've got a piece of metal, and I'm turning it. These are actually not bad. That's pretty nice. They are very easy to cross thread because you don't have the same feel you do with metal when you're screwing it. So I'm going to take this. I don't even need the handle there. And I'm going to turn it. And as long as it turns smoothly, that's usually a good indication. Yeah, it's turning just fine. That tells me it's threading fine, right? Now, when I turn it, it's not going far, right? And as soon as it wants to give me resistance, I snug it and I stop. Do not wrench it. Do not force it. Even new plastic, you know this, it'll snap and crack right in your hands. And that's it. Anyway, I was pretty sure that it came pre-loaded with brushes and that the ones that they give you in the kit are extra. I mean, you got years worth of brushes here, folks. But anyway, I hope that this series is useful to you, and I'll begin making more videos as I talk about the various places that, because I get these questions a lot from people. Hey, where do I get this and where do I get that? And I'd like to have a series of videos to refer you all to, because as the channel has grown, it takes me longer and longer to get to people's comments. It's wonderful that so many people have subscribed and are watching the channel, but I want to make sure I can still get information to you, and it's not always easy if I'm doing it one person at a time. So anyway, these are, again, this series is just me sharing places that I've had good experiences with. Businesses sometimes change. I used to have one, a fantastic seller, and she retired and her business went away. So, you have to always update this, and I'll try to keep this updated as I go out looking for parts for my own machine work. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.